So I'm going to go through just a few quick questions here on what makes us happy. The first question is a really important one. It asks, to what extent do we know what will make us happy? Or in other words, can we predict what will make us happy in the first place? So this is work done by Dr Gilbert at Harvard University, and he's really put forth this idea of what he calls affective forecasting. So affective forecasting is the prediction of one's emotional state in the future. And he has found that most of the time, people are wrong about how they think they're going to feel. We think things will often matter more than they do. And when it comes to predicting our own happiness, we often look forward into the future and predict that good things like maybe a promotion at work or having a really good piece of cake, that it's going to make us feel really happy and for a very long time. And we're actually wrong. So we tend to overestimate how positive, how happy things in the future are going to make us feel. So we're not very good at predicting what's going to make us happy and how long it's going to make us feel happy for. And to some extent, this might cause worry, that we're sort of wearing these rosy-colored glasses when we look into our horizon. But he would argue that actually this positive bias about our future is an important part of what makes us human. It helps us get to a present state that helps us remain positive about the future and motivate us to pursue goals. But indeed, we're not good at predicting what will make us happy. And he talks more about this in his TED Talk, titled The Surprising Science of Happiness, that you can check out here at the link below. Second question, can we stay happy once we actually find it? So once we get a glimpse of it and hold it in our palms, can we keep it there? And this is work that's talked about under the concept of the hedonic treadmill. So we know as humans that we're really good at adapting to new circumstances. We rapidly habituate to changes in our current situation. This tendency of humans, however, to adapt also means that we quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, despite very positive events like winning the lottery or very negative events like a divorce. So thus, even when very positive or very negative things happen, our happiness seems to stay at a relatively constant rate. So people liken the pursuit of increasing happiness to running on a treadmill. It's almost like we're working just to stay at the same place, right? So as good as we are at adapting to new circumstances, it often means that, the more we try to pursue happiness and something really great happens, or even when we fail and really negative life events happen, we seem to relatively stay at the same place. And so if we're struggling to become happier and happier, it's almost that we're running against an ever-moving treadmill. And finally, can we find happiness? So it seems that we're not good at predicting our happiness. We seem to sort of stay at a relatively constant rate, but yet we all believe that we have the right to pursue happiness. So ingrained in all of us, even you can see here in the Declaration of Independence, is the notion of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So this is a notion that we all hold incredibly important. But should we even be striving to attain happiness in the first place? So in illuminating work done by Iris Mouse and colleagues, she suggests not. So her work has found that people who endorse highly valuing happiness and put a lot of effort into striving to attain it unknowingly set up high standards for happiness, right? They sort of set their threshold bar very high for what ought to be an acceptable level of happiness. And as a result, when you set high standards, you often are likely to experience disappointment when these happiness standards aren't met. And this finding is most apparent in positive situations, like watching a happy film, for example, where you might most desire to feel happy. So they call this the paradoxical pursuit of happiness, because the more we value happiness, it seems the less happiness we actually experience, that we almost set ourselves up to live less happy lives the more valiantly we try to become happy. So it seems in many ways that John Stuart Mill was right. He said, "Those only are happy who have their minds fixed on some object other than their own happiness." So the harder we look for happiness, the less likely we're able to find it. So in many ways, this suggests we ought to try less to find happiness and let it flow naturally.